welcome to the deep dive. So, we live in this world, right? Constant notifications, algorithms feeding us stuff, always connected, 204/7.
Absolutely. It's overwhelming sometimes.
It really is. But there's this, like, quiet but really powerful rebellion happening, a return to analog.
Hmm.
For this deep dive, we looked into a fascinating source called the offline rebellion, why digital natives are gravitating towards analog experiences in an overconnected world.
Really interesting stuff.
Yeah. And our mission today is basically to unpack why. Why are Gen Z, millennials, people who, grew up totally online, why are they deliberately choosing to disconnect sometimes instead of just constant distraction?
Right.
What does that tell us about, like, the future of attention, creativity, maybe even our mental health?
Yeah, it's a big question.
And the course makes it pretty clear from the start.
Hmm.
This isn't just about old stuff being cool again. It's not just nostalgia. It says it's resistance.
It really is striking how it's framed as a counter movement.
Right.
These are generations that we'd assume would be completely, totally immersed in digital everything.
Exactly.
But they're the ones consciously stepping back.
Yeah.
It kind of challenges our basic assumptions about technology and how people use it.
Okay, so let's really get into this offline rebellion. I mean, when we say digital natives, these are people who swipe and scroll like it's breathing.
Instinctive, yeah.
But the source points out they're picking up, like, fountain pens, cassette players,
Hmm.
even flip phones, and physical planners. And it's not meant to be ironic or retro for the sake of it.
No, it's intentional.
Deeply intentional. So the big question is, why? Why now?
Well, that gets to a really crucial point about the cognitive cost, what all this constant connectivity actually does to our brains.
Okay.
The source talks about this concept, digital burnout. Basically, it's that mental and frankly physical exhaustion you get from being constantly stimulated online, always connected.
I think we all feel that sometimes.
For sure. And the why behind grabbing that pen or planner is the belief that these analog things, they actually slow your brain down. They help reduce that constant craving for the next notification, the next scroll, that little dopamine hit.
The dopamine loop.
Exactly. It's less about totally ditching tech forever and more about giving your brain a break, a chance to recalibrate, maybe build up actual focus instead of just jumping from one shiny thing to the next.
It's funny, isn't it? These tools that are supposed to connect us end up making us feel, well, exhausted.
Right.
I have to ask, what resonates with you about that feeling of digital overload? Because, I mean, I definitely feel that cognitive drain sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. For me, I think it's that feeling of always being on call, even if you're trying to switch off.
Yeah.
The source really nails it. It talks about that kind of mental hum, the potential for a notification just sort of hangs there, even if your phone's silent or off.
Oh, that's so true. The anticipation.
Yeah, the anticipation itself is draining. That feeling you're always just one ding away from a new demand on your time, your attention.
Exactly. That constant, like, low-level anxiety humming in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this whole idea of mindful productivity, bringing analog back into the picture, really comes in, doesn't it?
It does.
The source goes deeper here. It shows how analog tools aren't just for breaks. They're being used actively for, like, better productivity, richer experiences day to day. How does that actually look?
Well, we're seeing what the source calls a mindful productivity movement. Things like bullet journaling. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's huge.
It is. And using things like Pomodoro timers, those little timers for focused work bursts.
Oh, yeah, the tomato timer.
Right. Or even just, getting out pens and paper for a brainstorming session instead of using an app. And these aren't just like quirky fads. The source suggests these are becoming real practices for professionals, for creatives. They're using these analog methods specifically to get some control back over their time, their ideas, to get away from those endless, fragmented digital to-do lists.
That makes sense. Pulling away from the fragmentation.
And if you broaden that out a bit, it connects to this idea of reclaiming intimacy in media. Think about music lovers getting back into vinyl records instead of just streaming on Spotify.
Yeah, vinyl's definitely having a moment.
Or people going back to movie theaters, making an event of it again. And book clubs, apparently they are absolutely booming.
Wow.
And the source makes a really key point here. For these people, it's often not about, say, better sound quality on vinyl or higher definition at the cinema. It's about presence.
Presence. Okay.
Yeah, the physical act, putting the needle on the record, sitting in that dark theater with others, actually turning the pages of a physical book. It forces you kind of to be in the moment, to really engage without your phone buzzing in your pocket.
Right. You can't easily multitask with a record player or in a cinema.
Exactly. It demands your full attention.
And this isn't just individuals doing their own thing, is it? It's becoming more communal. You mentioned the rise of no-tech zones.
Yeah, that's another layer. The source highlights things like digital detox retreats becoming popular.
Right, I've heard of those.
And phone-free music festivals or cafes that actively discourage devices. These aren't just places to unplug for an hour. They're actually building communities around this idea of intentional offline living.
Wow, like a shared value.
It's a collective choice, yeah. Finding solidarity with others and stepping away from the noise for a bit. It's fascinating how people are actively seeking out these kinds of spaces.
It really is fascinating how something that starts as maybe a personal need for balance can actually start to ripple out and shape the culture.
Definitely.
So, beyond just personal choices, this seems like it's becoming a bigger trend. It must have wider cultural, maybe even economic implications. How's it showing up in the market?
Well, that's another really interesting angle the source explores, how analog has become a luxury statement.
The luxury statement. How so?
Think about it. In a world of mass-produced digital everything, things like really nice leather-bound notebooks or limited edition print runs of books or beautifully crafted mechanical watches.
Okay, things that take skill and time.
Exactly. They're becoming status symbols again. They represent craftsmanship, scarcity, something tangible. It's kind of a rejection of the disposable nature of a lot of digital stuff.
So owning something physical, maybe rare, is like a quiet pushback against the constant digital flow.
That's the idea. It's a statement against the fleeting, the mass-produced. In a world just saturated with digital noise, this analog luxury offers something tangible, something potentially enduring. And that kind of value feels increasingly rare, so people seek it out.
And our business is picking up on this?
Oh, for sure. Offline as a business model is definitely emerging. Brands are starting to really get this desire for something tangible, something exclusive.
How are they doing that?
Well, we're seeing companies doing limited physical-only product drops. You can only buy it in person or in a specific format.
Creates buzz, I guess.
It does. Or offering exclusive print newsletters instead of just email. Hosting experiential pop-up events that they deliberately don't promote heavily online.
Interesting. So they're using the lack of digital presence as a selling point.
Kind of. It creates a sense of occasion, a unique connection that maybe endless targeted ads can't quite replicate. In a world where everything digital aims to be frictionless, these brands are finding that creating a bit of intentional friction can actually build deeper loyalty, a sense of belonging.
Huh. Intentional friction. I like that. So putting all this together, what does it mean for the bigger picture? This feels like more than just, a temporary fad.
I think so too. And this really ties into the source's whole why it's newsworthy point. It suggests that the faster technology accelerates, the stronger the pull becomes, the need, the desire to opt out sometimes.
A balancing act.
Exactly. This offline rebellion, it really looks like a significant cultural pendulum swing. Away from the infinite scroll and towards something slower, more intentional.
And the implications are pretty broad then.
Yeah, if you think about it, it touches everything. Mental health, definitely. How we consume media, how businesses operate and sell things, education even, and just general lifestyle trends. It feels like a fundamental rethink of our relationship with tech and, maybe most importantly, with our own attention.
Wow. So, okay, the core idea seems to be tech speeds up, but this human need to step back, to engage more deeply, that speeds up too.
That's a good way to put it.
So this offline rebellion isn't just a quirky trend, it's like a real counter movement.
Yeah.
Driven by the very people who grew up digital, now redefining what connection and distraction and intentional living actually mean.
Absolutely. Which leads to a thought, maybe for you listening. Considering everything we've talked about digital burnout, the benefits people are finding in analog, what's maybe one intentional step you could take? Just one small thing to bring a few more analog moments into your day.